You are listening to Alchemizing Judgment, a guide back to love, written by Abigail Gazda, narrated by Abigail Gazda. Chapter 8, Completion. I have thoroughly explained integrity as a pillar of life so far in this book. I have intentionally gone into the depths on topics and baseline them in ways that you will be able to see yourself more clearly. This is to support you as an alchemist, bringing everything back into the love energy, and there will be more on that in the upcoming pillar. This pillar has been put together to offer you awareness around your automatic or default ways of being. No more inauthenticity. No more impulsive impact and reactivity. No more victimhood. No more acting out of integrity about what you know. You must own your responsibility for this life, and when you do, you can step into your unique role in moving humanity forward. This next theory that I'm going to teach you is about the concept of completion. When it comes to integrity, completion is by far the most important component to facilitate the work and create a forward momentum. One of my favorite things to say about completion is that you cannot run a marathon with a ball and chain on your foot. Completion is the concept of healing your wounds to the point that they no longer hold negative energy or keep you operating at a low frequency. Unhealed wounds disempower you and hold you back. You will know you are successfully practicing completion when you are consistently less triggered in life on a day-to-day or even moment-to-moment basis. Transformation itself is about being able to live empowered for long durations of time and to recover from disempowerment quickly and frequently. I share this because I believe that many people confuse being transformed or enlightened as being perfectly peaceful, blissful, and tolerant. It is hardly that. Much like you cannot exclude judgment from your humanness, you cannot rid your life of unexpected hardship, disappointments, and triggers. Our transformation is a reflection of our capacity to be with any and everything from a clear place of nothingness. Nothingness represents a lack of association or definition. Said another way, complete detachment. It is to have no need to engage with our humanness or ego when we encounter something that would be considered upsetting or troubling. This also goes in the opposite direction and the entire spectrum in between. You can also be detached from good or great things that cause ego-based reactions. This is a mastery level of coming from nothing. When we hold no reference for how things should be, we are open to all the ways things can be. This is made possible by the constant clearing and releasing available through completion. It is to empty every bag you carry your emotional weight in. It is to release your needs as a means for validation and gratification. This work is the work of someone committed to living clearly and liberated, and to exist as freely as this realm can offer. The act of completion is saying what there is to say and doing what there is to do to put a period at the end of a sentence in your life. It looks like closing a chapter in the book of your life. It's tying up loose ends. It's healing an open wound. It's removing a thorn. It's delivering unspoken communications. It's reconciling debts. It's handling unkept promises. It's ending toxic behaviors and relationships. It's feeling unfelt feelings. It's fully grieving loss and disappointment. It's digesting untended thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Take a good listen to that list. Sometimes we too quickly scan things that are in listed format, and I want you to examine each bullet point on a deeply personal level. Each of these components are energetic blocks, stagnant in your body. I like to refer to them as gunk. This will be helpful as we proceed through the alignment pillar. Consider yourself as a vessel for love to flow to and through. If you are clogged, flow is restricted. I will be teaching you how to clear the gunk and become a true alchemist, one who can come from that space of nothingness. I will be rigorously specific about getting all the gunk out as we go on. I want you to imagine getting to the point that you are no longer digging or scraping, but wiping and polishing. That clean, that clear, that committed to being a true alchemist. So I invite you to read over that list again and locate where each one exists in your body. What are you doing to rid those loose ends, debts, and disappointments? What unkept promises, grief, and unspoken words haunt you? If you allow yourself to consider each one seriously, you can find them in your memory banks, and you store them like excess fat in your body. Until you acknowledge and work them out, they will stay stored in your energetic body and weigh you down. That constant sore neck, your back pain and migraines, the arthritis, tendinitis, and countless other symptoms are the storage of low-frequency gunk stuck to the walls of you. If you consider doing any and all of the things on this list, just take a deep breath and imagine how much resolution you would experience in your life. People often think success is about what there is to do ahead of them. You already know what to do to succeed and exactly how to do it all. It is the gunk that stops you from doing it. Success is made available when you clean up the messes you have all over your life, past and present. Completion is commonly mistaken for closure. However, I would invite you to understand that closure is from your ego. The illusion of closure is believing that getting answers from people you feel owe you an explanation will bring you peace. It looks like trying to figure out or understand circumstances prematurely just so you can feel better or have momentary relief. Closure is forceful. Closure is surface level and contingent upon your external factors. We sense we need closure when we can't seem to make sense of things or when outcomes seem unfair to us. We operate from a space of manipulation when seeking closure because it is not closure we are seeking. It is a false sense of control we desire. Completion, on the other hand, is about transmuting the previously painful energy or circumstances into something that empowers us. It is properly digesting an experience and its energy to bring you back to love and gratitude. Closure is a Band-Aid fix for an issue that needs heart surgery. Completion is a whole new diet that will help you obtain and maintain heart health, literally and figuratively. I have mentioned turning your pain into purpose. Taking time to create completion around unhealed wounds, broken relationships, and traumatizing experiences will cut cords that keep us held back from going forward in life. You cannot go forward with a ball and chain on your foot. You cannot soar with emotional baggage weighing you down. Again, completion is about saying what there is to say and doing what there is to do in order to feel fully complete with a situation. This can allow you to energetically remove it from your body. When we refuse to process something, it stays stagnant within us. When we allow ourselves to examine it fully, we can gain a better understanding of the pain caused, the conclusions we drew, and the survival mechanisms we created to defend ourselves against what we perceived as threats. When we are incomplete with our past, we project that pain into our future, recreating it time and time again. I love to remind people that the universe will continue to teach you a lesson until you learn it. If you refuse to reach completion with events that have occurred in your life, you will run into parallel circumstances and individuals, both showing up to teach you that lesson over and over again. It is your responsibility to take heed. You must slow down enough to recognize the subconscious manifestations trying to communicate a need within your body. In my work, it is common knowledge that our childhood wounds are what shapes so much of our personalities, patterns, and preferences. Who we are is based on the occurrences of our formative years. It is a sliding scale of ending up nothing like our parents or exactly like our parents, and so many of our decisions are meant to match or defy our upbringing. This isn't always life-threatening, but it does limit our ability to understand ourselves and our authentic expression. I want to remind you, the universe will teach you this lesson until you learn it. You came here to be an authentic expression of love. You did not come here only to be an extension of your parents, nor is it your natural expression to be the opposite of your parents. Your biggest job here is to know, own, love, and share yourself. You must discover your own preferences and definitions of success, meaning, and purpose. Throughout life, everyone and everything will come and go. You must recognize that you are your only constant in life. Therefore, your greatest task is to master yourself and live fully unleashed. We aren't exactly taught or encouraged to do this in school, and unless we have highly self-aware and conscious parents, we are probably raised in a traditional household in which emotional intelligence wasn't a dinner table topic. This isn't bad or wrong, it just has its own set of consequences. One of those consequences is that our upbringing had an impact on our self-image. We don't have to have grown up in a broken home or have had to live through painful trauma to draw certain disempowering conclusions about ourselves. Even with well-intentioned parents in a generally healthy household, events occur during our childhood that can cause us to draw conclusions about ourselves, others, a higher power, and the world. Involuntarily, our brain develops and archives on certain days more than others, leaving imprints upon our body and mind. Some of these specific memories produce feelings of unlovability, inadequacy, or unworthiness. These imprints aren't always drastic or obvious, but if they go unidentified and unhealed, we can struggle with the subtle manifestations attempting to reveal our subconscious beliefs. If we do not heal childhood wounds, we may find ourselves stuck in a looping pattern of manifesting evidence of our perceived flaws. Let's be clear. These wounds are a function of being human. There is nothing anyone did to cause them. They are no one's fault, and there is nothing wrong with you. There is no good or bad about them. They just are a part of the human condition. What is so important to understand is that while we cannot prevent them, we must heal them, or they will keep popping up in life as general annoyances. They will show up in your career, relationships, finances, and more. You may constantly get overlooked for the promotion, never make it past the second date, have repetitive toxic relationships, consistently struggle with your relationship with food or substances, or always find a new bill in your mailbox. There tends to be this perpetual challenge that gets the unhealed, incomplete person down. Many people who struggle with these disempowering beliefs often wonder why they have been dealt such a tough hand in life. It is because the childhood wounds have gone unidentified. Beyond that, you will find blame instead of a true root cause that exists within you. Blame, resentment, and rejection are all forms of judgment that will distract you from ever arriving to completion. Thus, you will always feel like you are missing a major key to a full life. You will feel incomplete and unfulfilled as a result of this deeply seated belief and your unwillingness to examine it. You must acknowledge and complete this pain in order to truly shift and see new results in your life and relationships. Besides repetitive manifestations, incompletion also looks like forever reoccurring conversations in your head. Unspoken words, arguments had, experiences you've witnessed that took your power or innocence away from you in such a way that you still feel powerless, pain inflicted, dominance asserted without permission. I'm here to help you understand why you have repetitive, intrusive thoughts that never seem to go away. The answer is incompletion. I am going to provide you with some tools for completion work, and I want to start with an important preface. Completion work is something that I highly suggest doing with a professional. As mentioned previously, we cannot see ourselves fully, nor can we see our trauma fully. In order to digest it properly and transmute it effectively, having the support of a professional will move you through spaces that you are otherwise afraid to go through. If you could do it on your own, you would. One thing I do not suggest is expecting to do completion work with a friend. I myself go to a professional for this work. When we go to friends and family for this true work, they cannot hold the space of nothingness to appropriately process our thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It is challenging for someone untrained to listen and add nothing so that you can explore your own energy. Others' inclusion in your completion can cloud your experience of working your way entirely through it. This is why I suggest someone who can hold space for you and even draw out every bit of the incompleteness. If you are weeding a garden and pull too hard, you will likely break the root, leaving some of it to remain in the dirt and grow back. Completion is slow and thorough, aiming to get it all out. Sometimes you leave something behind and have to weed again, but once you finally get to the root, your body will tell you. You will have a deep sense of knowing you are complete. This work takes time, intention, commitment, willingness, and vulnerability. Be kind with yourself. Focus on your grace. In my personal and professional opinion, completion is the most important work there is to do in all of life because it makes everything else possible. To do it will afford you the opportunity to cut the chains of your pain and past so that you can move forward into your future joyously. Once you learn the concept and feel empowered, another way to work through creating completion in your life is to communicate with the people that you know you are incomplete with. The key word here is empowered. If you are disempowered, then it is your ego seeking closure, not your soul creating completion. You can imagine how thin the line between these two are, and you must know the difference before using my next suggestion. This can be scary and may require some support and accountability. This is primarily why I encourage you seek a professional for guidance. However, if you feel confident about this, make a list of people you know you are incomplete with. I like inviting my clients to do this energetically. They get out a notebook and make the longest list they can of people they know they are incomplete with. This can go as far back as childhood and all the way through your life to present. It doesn't matter what level of incomplete you are at with someone to put them on that list. The universe will start conspiring in your favor. You may see them on the street. You may get a random phone call or text from them. You may all of a sudden get a friend request on social media. They may show up to you in a dream or meditation. This is the universe affording you the opportunity to create completion in your life. Next, I am going to teach you how to have powerful conversations to develop your completion. You can apply this lesson to your energetic completion list and your interactions from this day forward. However you decide to use it, this is your access not only to releasing old gunk, but to prevent collecting any new gunk as well. A conversation to completion is a pretty simple concept. You do not leave the conversation until both people feel that they have said everything they need to say in order to feel complete. When I started doing this in my life, which I promise took some learning, it always proved to be worth the discomfort of learning a new skill. When I learned to practice conversations to completion in my life, I had less new baggage each and every day. I was simultaneously completing bigger traumas from my past. I started to feel lighter and more liberated to express my more authentic self. When I wasn't struggling with traumas of my past, my authentic self started to reveal herself naturally. My thoughts became more focused on creative endeavors, trips I wanted to plan, places I wanted to see, and things I wanted to do. When I began to free myself from the clutches of my past, my life simply became more fun. The more fun you have, the more fun you can have, because it feels good to feel good. It is the cycle of love I referred to in action. Completing your past will make things available to you that you could have never imagined. You think you have big dreams now. When you release yourself from the prison of your past, you will attain your greatest goals and have to consider new ones because you will be able to climb even higher without the emotional baggage. That being said, let's talk about having conversations to completion. I am going to teach you a few key methods of communication that will empower a conversation to completion. Whether it is a disagreement, a tough truth to share, or closing a chapter of the past, when it comes to having a conversation, it can bring up natural nerves and anxiety. What this also tends to do is bring up our own insecurities. This will have us listening and speaking through the filters of our past. So instead, I am going to teach you a few fundamental steps you can follow to best communicate without getting your own perception and projections in the way. If you are committed to creating completion with someone, it is helpful to share these cues with your partner in order to empower both of you in a conversation to completion. Some steps and cues you can use are: I have something vulnerable I need to share. If it helps, share the emotions first, i.e., I am nervous, uneasy, concerned. Then share as authentically as tolerable. Really stretch here. Listener, create space for someone's share by not interrupting. An empowering response to a vulnerable share can look like, what I heard you say was, to reflect what the listener thinks they heard the person sharing say. This will allow the listener to reflect the share to acknowledge comprehension. Allow for the person sharing to confirm or correct the listener's reflection to ensure they feel heard, seen, and fully understood. Reflect and correct until both people feel clear and on the same page. A follow-up share can be something to the effect of, "The way I received that was," or "What I made that mean is." Again, allow space for the response without interrupting. Reflect and correct again until both feel clear and understood. To begin ensuring full communication and completion, one may ask, "Does that feel complete for you?" Or, "Is there anything else you need to say to be complete?" Allow for more to come up and say what does openly. Another incompletion may be identified and sorted out as well. These are very thorough questions, and when they are asked multiple times, we genuinely search our heart for the, "Yes, that is complete." Do this back and forth until both parties can say for themselves, "I feel complete." Prioritizing this exercise can help people experience clarity while also allowing room for the other person's experience and emotions. This conversation is not one meant for virtue signaling, moralizing, criticizing, or judging. The quickest way to alchemize judgment is through understanding. To enter into a conversation to completion implies a commitment to understanding the other person and situation, not just to get your point or pain across. It is a conversation to create space for allowing others to express themselves, be heard, and seen. Conversations to completion occur when both people are committed to being 100% authentic in their communication. This approach almost always ends up in some form of mutual understanding. Simply because you both maintain a different perspective doesn't mean you don't walk away without at least understanding and likely respecting each other. Now, you may be rolling your eyes thinking, "Good Lord, Abigail, are we really supposed to do that all day, every day?" The answer is yes. And as I have shared throughout this book, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the less it seems like work in the first place. When I started doing this in life, people were taken by surprise, and yet they leaned right into the conversation and questions. This amount of powerful questioning and communication is a relief in the world. We spent the last few chapters talking about your impact, and if you are committed to having conversations to completion, your impact will be unique, transformative, and lasting. I encourage you to have every single conversation lead to completion. Never feel strange for making sure someone feels complete with their interaction with you. If you do this, you will lay your head on your pillow at night feeling like you've checked every box there is to check. You will rest peacefully. You will start each day anew. You will stop adding baggage to your life, allowing you to be freed up for all of your passions and purpose. This occurs because you have chosen to restore and maintain your integrity in all aspects of your life. In order to get better at this, I would like to teach you an awareness tactic I like to call see something, say something. I pinky promise I was not perfect at completion conversations when I first started them. In fact, I was a little nervous and insecure about making sure someone was complete before they walked away. What was even more detrimental, I would be afraid to admit that I was not complete with a conversation before they walked away. Someone might have said something that didn't make sense to me, and for days I would dwell on it, feeling insecure about what they meant by what they said. Once I committed to having conversations to completion, if I didn't have the courage to complete the conversation right in the moment, I made a new promise to complete it sometime in the future. "Hey, Johnny, you said something the other day that really stuck with me. You made a remark that I do that thing when I talk, and I didn't quite understand what you meant by it. It has sort of been bothering me, and I wanted to communicate that and contact you to get some clarity. Do you mind explaining what you meant by that statement?" You can then use the cues I gave you to have a full completion conversation, leaving both of you walking away from the call feeling empowered, heard, seen, understood, and accepted. Cool added benefit? People secretly love when you come back for completion because it gives them freedom too. Whether the incompletion is communicated or not, your withholding your truth acts like a thread between the two of you, energetically tying each other together. To cut those cords sets them free in ways they didn't know they were being tied down. People love believing they have no qualms with others. Clearing and completing is a contribution to humanity as a whole. It is a generous civic duty. For me, calling people back was transformational, but after a while, I got tired of having to pick up the phone to let people know I was incomplete with them. I didn't want to do that anymore, so I started taking responsibility mid-conversation. If someone triggered me or if something seemed off, I would call it out immediately. I would say what I needed to say, and I would make sure that I listened to them as well. I got really good at doing this in the moment. So good that I stopped sweating when I knew I needed to do it. Now it is a natural part of my conversation, and people love it. They appreciate it and even expect it. Oftentimes, I will be complimented on how thorough I am in a conversation and how it makes a difference in people feeling complete. People notice it. People will notice you. You will leave people feeling better than when they came to you. You will leave hearts more unleashed than when you met them. Get this. You will even be teaching them how to carry this skill into their own life through your modeling and integrity. Ripple effect, baby. This is having a true and lasting positive impact, and that is what you are here for. When you master it, you can provide that for yourself and for others. If you do this throughout your life, you will be living with integrity. Your conversations, projects, agreements, and promises will feel solid and complete. Not in a once-and-for-all kind of way, but in a functional and sustainable way. You will feel consistently empowered, enlivened, and fulfilled by your lack of attachments and incompletions. This is the employed part of integrity. Doing what you know to do, when you know to do it, the way you know it is meant to be done. This is being a person of your word. Always remember, your word creates your world. The quality and direction of your life is 100% reliant upon the quality of your relationships. This directly includes the quality of your conversations. If you take the quality of your conversations seriously and bring them all to completion, you will certainly be thriving in life. You will be alchemizing all conversations back to love, and this will have the greatest impact on your ability to naturally be in integrity everywhere else: health, wealth, spirituality, and more. As an active alchemist, you will feel integrous, confident, liberated, and in love with the life that you are deliberately creating. Thank you for listening to this reading of Alchemizing Judgment. If you enjoyed this reading, please like this video and comment a review below. I also invite you to subscribe to my channel, Abigail Rose Gazda. To read and listen to more of my books, visit abigailgazda.com/books. Thanks for tuning in.